and welcome to another episode of Living in Spiritual Awareness. I'm Lisa Mastrocola, your host, and I would like to ask you to think about what you've eaten today, all the foods, and if you took any time to notice or feel or sense how those foods made you feel. Every meal, every snack. And then do you struggle with any weight issues? And if you do you say to yourself, what's wrong with me? How come I can't get a handle on this? A lot of people do. And I'm one of them. And so tonight we have a wonderful guest. Her name is Leslie Finocchio, and she's a holistic health coach. And we're so lucky to have her, and she's going to talk about all aspects of nutrition, a lot of aspects that really don't get talked about. Hi, Leslie.
Hi.
Nice to have you.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
So I'm really excited. Leslie, could you tell our viewers, maybe give them a little background on how you even became a holistic health coach and what that is?
Absolutely. It's been quite a journey for me. So I am employed in healthcare, but I work in the IT side of healthcare, and I've been there for about 20 years. And I felt like I was being boxed in my current job, and an opportunity arose for me to grow and into other areas of the IT world, and felt it was very exciting. So I took this opportunity and jumped into my new job. And I was there for 3 years, and it wound up being the most stressful job I've ever had in my life. And I knew I wasn't going to leave it unless, maybe a different opportunity opened up. So I had to find a way to deal with this job, but also give me some satisfaction. So I started doing some searches, some Google searches, trying to find out, the big buzzwords. What's your passion? And I had no idea what my passion is. I really, this was my job. This is what I went to work. Everybody's talking about having their passion and doing the things they love to do. And I'm like, all right, so what's my passion? What do I want to do? How can I find this? So that's when I started my journey, and I started thinking about all the things that I've really been interested in all of my life. And one of those things was nutrition.
Did you always have did you always struggle with weight issues?
Well, I have a thyroid problem. So I do have a thyroid disorder, and I've been struggling with that for about 25 years. So I've learned how to manage my thyroid. I am on thyroid medication. So I've had to learn how to eat better and make sure that my food is, healthy and organic. And when I had children, that's what I wanted to raise them up in a world that's organic and keeping all of the chemicals out of the house as much as possible. So I said, I think that's my passion. So I found a school because I do work full time, so I needed something that was online, and it's called the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. Joshua Rosenthal founded the school after his own journey of nutrition and realizing what the world needed. So you go to the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, IIN is what it's called.
Now, is it an online course?
All online.
Oh, nice.
So, and they have some fantastic teachers come in. We learn all different types of dietary theory, but what it teaches you is that your nutrition is not just food. It's what we call primary foods is what is more important in your life. And
I have never heard that term.
Well, Joshua Rosenthal, as I said, he created this institution, IIN, and he coined the term primary foods. And what that means is career, spirituality, relationships, and exercise are more important than the food you put in your mouth.
I have never heard that.
Well,
that is amazing.
If you think about it, you can eat all the kale and broccoli and drink all the smoothies you want, but they're not going to help you lose weight if there's some other area in your life that's out of balance.
Stop.
It's everything.
Stop right there. That is groundbreaking, don't you think?
And that's what Joshua said. This is totally groundbreaking. It's what people need to understand, because no matter how good you eat, if you don't take care of all of those other areas of your life, then you're always going to be unhealthy.
And
you need to find some balance.
And who talks about it? We
Nobody.
hear on TV how many commercials on every kind of food weight loss plan and gyms and all those pills. Nobody has ever said anything about that. So of course everybody out there, including myself, has spent years and years feeling like they're a failure. How can this happen? I can control things. How come I can't control my food? How come I can't get a better handle on my weight? And
and it's because there's all different things that interact with your body.
It's not just about the food that you're putting in your body.
And not everything needs a magic pill. A doctor is very quick to give you something to control your cholesterol or, to help with your diabetes. We have to try to take care of it ourselves. Your body is built to heal. Think about it when you cut yourself or if you break a bone.
Yeah.
Your body sends the appropriate cells and does the appropriate things to heal that cut, form a scab, and it's all gone. It fixes the bone that's in your body. Your body knows what to do to heal itself, but you have to help it get there by making sure of everything else that's in your life and feeding all of that.
That's so interesting. I cannot wait to hear about that.
So let's start with the primary foods. The first one, career. All right, so here you see I was in a job. It was very stressful. I needed to find something that was going to feed my soul to either help me get out of the job that I'm in or provide me with some enjoyment outside of the job. So I had something else to look forward to. So I think you need to take a look at your job. What does it do for you? Do you work with toxic people? Are they always negative? Do you always just go in there and be berated by different people? Is it stressful and you can't handle the stress? And I know it's not that easy to just jump out of a job and go into another one, but you need to do some soul searching and see, what can I do? It's possible. I've done it. I'm still working a full-time job. I was able to find a job that is less stressful, so I'm still in the IT world in healthcare, but I've managed to get out of the job that's less stressful, and I'm working doing health coaching now. So you have to just try to find a way to make your career a little more fulfilling.
So let me ask you this. So if someone has a stressful job or they work with toxic people, which I meet a lot of people, clients, that is the case. So do those people go home then and they're the ones that eat the devil dogs or just
Absolutely.
eat? And what they're doing is that's kind of taking care of that. Oh my goodness.
It's just causing you to go home and you're upset, so you just go and you grab whatever quick. You're not thinking about what you want to eat, or maybe you just had to go and have a couple of glasses of wine. And I'm not saying having a couple of glasses of wine, but if it's just because your job is stressful, rather than to just sit down with a nice meal and enjoy your wine, then that's not healthy. So it's all of that. And you can counteract it. So if you're working with toxic people, it's hard, but you can also go in there with your own mindset and say, you know what? I know how she's going to be, and she's going to start to be negative, and I'm not going to feed into it. And try some positive mindset and try to just turn her off. And, if somebody's in your office is saying, oh, I can't stand so-and-so today, look at all the work, they're not doing anything, I can't stand my boss, and say, well, I'm sorry, I'm going to just try to do my work over here, and, I've just got some things on my mind. I'm not going to feed into this today. And just try some positive, more positive affirmations to that person
Right.
rather than.
And positive affirmations are really powerful.
Absolutely.
I do them. I've had stressful jobs where I've had to walk in every day and say, like I work in creative collaboration with like-minded people. So if you don't like your environment
Absolutely.
and there are toxic people, you can say, I walk in the whitest light. I will maintain a positive mind. And like you said, you walk in there. There are so many tools out there.
Right.
You walk in with that mindset.
That's
you're
right.
halfway there. That's half the battle.
That's half the battle. And then who knows? Maybe the job that you're in that you hate so much, you might actually really like.
Yeah.
So it's all about just finding what's right for you with your career. But you do need to just sit down and think about it.
That makes perfect sense.
So with that, the next piece of your primary foods is relationships. And this is relationships with your spouse, could be with your friends, could be with your coworkers, your teachers, your students. How are your relationships? Are these relationships negative? Are they positive? Is somebody always complaining about the sun's too bright, the moon's too bright, the water's too cold, it's too hot, are they just always in that world? You need to try to distance yourself. Either try to change their way of thinking and make them a little more positive that, yeah, the sun's too bright, but it's beautiful, it's nice, it's warm, it's a great day, let's enjoy it. And if they don't feed into that and they just continue with the negativity, it's putting toxicity in your body because you have to listen to it all the time.
Right, and it's if you have a day where maybe you've had a fight with the spouse or your children, which
Right.
we know that can happen.
Not
It
my
puts you in
children.
that right frame of mind that you want to just grab something to feel better.
Right.
That makes perfect sense.
That's right. And so, you think about all of your different relationships. How are they affecting me? Sometimes maybe you are in these toxic relationships and you need to turn around and walk away. Sometimes that's hard. Maybe somebody's been in your life for a long period of time and you don't just want to turn around and walk away. But you got to find a balance with that to keep these people in your life because maybe they are very good friends or, maybe it's your spouse and you're having a hard time with your spouse. You don't want to divorce them, but you need to find a balance. Mm-hmm. But it's not only the relationships that you have externally. What about the relationship you have with yourself? That's huge. And I can share my story because that was, I think, one of my turning points. So part of my journey, I was looking for some different exercises, different things to do, and I've never taken a yoga class, and I said, let me go try some yoga. But I need to find a studio that offers a beginner's class, so that I can go and learn some of these poses because I'm not flexible and I certainly am not going to be able to get myself into some of those positions. So I found a great studio and I went my first day, introduced myself to the instructor, and she said, "Oh, Leslie, by the way, you signed up for a free lesson as well, a free private lesson." I was like, "I did?" So she said, "Yeah, so, let me know when's good for you." And so we made a date, and I'm thinking to myself, a private yoga lesson. What is this going to be? Do I really want to do this? I'm already intimidated coming here.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I got to go to this private lesson. And I said, you know what? It'll be fine. Just go. So I went to my private yoga lesson. And as we were going through some of the poses, one of them required some balance. And so I was doing it, and she happened to say to me, "Leslie, you've got great balance." And my response was, it was even better when I was 25 pounds lighter. And she said, "And that is Himsa. We are not here to practice Himsa. We are learning Ahimsa, which is nonviolence to yourself. We don't make statements like that because that's just being violent, so to speak,
Wow.
to your own self. You are exactly where you are supposed to be for right now.
Huge.
And I went, oh my God, you're right. I have been beating myself up constantly. And we do this on a daily basis.
I feel like almost, yes, we do, but I feel like we're almost conditioned to do that. With every, I mean, if I see one more Nutrisystem commercial, it shows constantly 24/7.
Right.
You have to lose 20 pounds, you have to lose 50
Right.
pounds, you know, and so we're saying to ourselves,
Right.
well, I don't look like that model. What's wrong with me?
That's
Our
right.
first question, and kind of maybe that's what they want us to say, you know,
Right.
like, what's wrong with
Right,
me?
'cause
There is
it's
a
a
problem
business.
with me.
Right.
Exactly.
They
So you
want
know
you to
what? We're
buy
going to
into the
stop the
business.
insanity. I love it.
Yeah. So that was huge for me. That was my, aha moment.
yeah.
Everybody always says, I have an aha moment. Well, I never had an aha moment, and I can honestly say I finally had my aha moment. And after that point, I would start to say to myself, you know what? You're okay. Yeah, you might be a little on the overweight side. We do need to lose a few pounds, but it's okay. You're okay just the way you are. And so I would start to change my mindset. And you do this all the time, not just for maybe being a little overweight. Maybe you do it in your job. I can't get this right. I'm not good enough to do this. We're always beating ourselves up. So you need to change all of that negative self-talk and make it positive.
And I have to say, my aha moment happened this time last year. And I think a lot of times when people are like in a desperate, almost like when their back is against the wall, that's when they have an aha moment. Mine was, and it was the same thing. I was putting weight on, talking bad to myself, and the more negative talk, and you know what, when I see clients, I always say to them, talk to yourself the way you do to a best friend. But I don't take that philosophy. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't put it into play, and I really need to.
Right.
But what happened this time last year, I went to the doctor. I was very sick. My sugars were in the 400s. And the doctor said to me, what are you doing? You're going on insulin. And I just said to her, basically I got smacked up against the wall, and I just said, no, really, let me try to give me a few weeks.
Yep.
And I did a plan, but it wasn't just any plan. I was being monitored and everything. But what happened was, and I was on medicine to this point, medicine.
Mm-hmm.
They would send me to a nutritionist. But on some level, I knew what I was being told was not going to get me off that medicine or take away my diabetes or anything.
Right.
So it just wasn't sitting right with me, but I didn't know where to turn. And then against the wall, I joined this program, and you know what? I was detoxed off of sugars.
Yep.
And it basically gave my pancreas and my liver
Yep.
like a fresh start.
Absolutely.
And then it reintroduced foods back into my body. And when I went back, I was 30 pounds lighter, and the doctor said to me, my sugars were all normal. Type 2 diabetes gone, all my medicine's gone, and she congratulated me because she said, people don't get off their medicine
Right.
usually.
That's right.
So that was my aha moment.
That's right. And
so
people
you
don't.
can do it. You can
You
totally
absolutely can
heal
And
yourself.
When people think their doctors give them they're on their pills and this is what they're going to have to take, and you're just going to have to take it for the rest of your life, because no, you don't.
Yeah.
You absolutely
On
don't.
some level, I knew, and I think it's being meditating and being
Right.
so listening to the angels, and they were just telling me, no, this is not
Right.
what you're being told is not the right thing. So when we started having this conversation on this information, that's why it's so important to bring it to viewers, because
That's right.
who talks about this?
You
don't.
don't, because you go to your doctor and they say, okay, well, you have to do this, and here's the pill to help you out. There are doctors that are out there that are starting to become more holistic rather than having you just take a pill. There are doctors, they're functional medicine doctors. And if somebody really needs to go on, they're having a lot of food problems, things like that, you go to a functional medicine doctor and they will put you on these very strict diets and very slowly introduce food back into you to see what is actually wrong with you. So that's where you get some of these. We are learning, and health
Right,
coaches, just
now-
like myself,
yes.
will help you in some of the areas that you need the assistance.
And we will get into that. I can't wait.
Yeah. So I think looking at your career, looking at your relationships, those are the first couple of places to start, and then spirituality. This is also huge because all of my life, if I thought of spirituality, all I think of is I have to go to church. I was raised Catholic, and spirituality to me means going to church every Sunday. But that's not what spirituality is. It's not necessarily a structured religion. Maybe it is for some people, but not for others. You have to find what works for you. Spirituality can just be going outside, walking around, smelling the air, smelling the flowers, seeing the trees, walking by the ocean. We live right there near the ocean, going and just spending some time at the beach. The water, the sunrises, the sunsets, that's spirituality.
And don't you feel so close to God? I feel closer to God when I do that than when I'm sitting on church on a Sunday morning.
Yes.
And there again, I'm being told I'm a
Right.
sinner. I'm not doing this
Right.
right. I'm not doing that right. It's more of that conditioning of you're not quite there. You're not
Right.
that good, And
Exactly.
so I would much rather spend the time.
Exactly.
And when I'm near water and when I'm in nature, that's where God talks to me. The angels talk to me. That's where I get an awful lot of my guidance.
And that's where people need to go to sit, to just meditate.
Yeah.
To just
And you don't
quiet
need
your
more,
mind.
and you don't need more than a few minutes. Like
No.
I will tell people, including students, young kids that I have, you can meditate right at your desk, right in your seat, right
Right.
at your school seat.
Exactly.
Nobody has to know. 5 minutes of just deep breathing.
Right.
It does change
Exactly.
your whole inner
Right.
workings.
It calms your mind, calms
Yes.
your body, and just brings you all into a peaceful state.
Yep.
There's something to the hippie lifestyle of,
Yeah.
being communal and being outside and all of that. And I think,
Everything in moderation.
right, exactly. Yeah. We won't go to the whole hippie lifestyle, but just the being outside,
Right.
it's just nice to get back to that. And
And I can see how that also, if you're nervous, if you have that nervous energy, when I don't take time to meditate or breathe properly,
Right.
and there's that state of being anxious, you're right. When you feel disconnected from God, that does bring on
Right.
bad eating habits. It really does.
It does.
A lot of sugar things.
Absolutely does. Yep. And then the other thing is exercise. All right. Exercise is huge. And you need to know that if you're not getting up and moving, then it's a problem. And it doesn't mean go to the gym. It doesn't mean, spend oodles of money. It just means getting up and moving. And a story from a client that I had worked with, she was a menopausal woman going through a lot of these different changes in her body. And one of those changes was incontinence. Talked to somebody and they said, well, what's your job like? What's this like? What's that like? Finding out she was a very sedentary person. She didn't get up much at her job. She wasn't very active after or before work. And they said, well, you need to start to get up and move. Just start to go out for walks. Think about it. Your pelvic muscles, if you're just sitting all day, aren't doing anything. They're just sitting and relaxing.
That makes sense.
She started to get up, go for walks, move around, started to do some squats to strengthen her legs, her hips, her core. The incontinence went away.
So tell me, what is the difference? So you're a holistic health coach.
Yes.
How is that different than a nutritionist?
I cannot provide you with diet plans specific to your illness.
So if a client comes to you to work with you as a health coach, what can they expect?
So what I would do is look at this whole lifestyle, the primary foods as well as what you eat. find out how can we make changes. And what I would do is work with you to make a small change here, a small change there, because right now everybody just throws everything at you and says, do this.
Right.
And then you don't know where to begin, you don't know how to begin, and when you start doing too much all at once, you just get discouraged and you don't want to do it anymore at all.
I know me, one of my biggest issues is when everything is thrown at me. If I feel overwhelmed, I shut right down and I don't do anything.
Exactly. And so what I would do is work with you every couple of weeks, make a new change, figure out what's working, what's not working, make some changes in your diets, maybe give you some exercises to do, and let's see what happens. What works, what's not working for you, and find out how we can make that a plan for you.
I love that. So if you had like a last, like an overall message, what would you like our viewers to take away?
Well, what I want everybody to realize is one of the other terms I learned is bioindividuality, and that is one person's food is another man's poison. So realize that just because your friend is able to lose weight by doing these things doesn't mean it's going to work for you.
I love that.
Find out what works for you, but look at your overall lifestyle as a whole, not just what you eat. What do you do? Where do you work? Who are your friends? How do you treat yourself? And take that whole package. And that's what needs to change, not just your diet.
That's really amazing. So Leslie, if anybody would like to contact you, maybe get more information on all these aspects, or would like to maybe work with you, how can they be in contact with you?
My website is www.sunriseholistichealth.com, or you can contact me by my phone, 978-979-4731.
Leslie, thank you so much. And as you can see, we've had the half hour has gone by really quickly. Leslie has so many things to talk about. So she has agreed to do a part 2. So we're doing this is a 2-part series. So on our next episode, Leslie will be talking about organic foods and GMOs and pesticides. A must-see, a lot of great information. There again, that people just don't, you don't get that information out there. So we're really happy that you spent this half hour with us. We look forward to speaking with you again very soon. And Leslie, thank you, and good night.